South Carolina not the only program that bolstered their offensive side of the ball. I don't think anyone did so more than this next program we're going to talk about, and that's Oregon, as they pick up the top running back available here in the portal, Makhi Hughes, coming over from Tulane. And then they bring one of their own back in Evan Stewart at wide receiver. There was a lot of talk about him potentially heading to the next level and declaring for the draft. But Dan Lanning gets him back. Dante Moore expected to be the guy there at quarterback next season. They also just added Malik Benson at wide receiver, who played at Florida State last year. We have a video on that. So Oregon fans, if you're checking this video out, we did something on that Malik Benson pickup the other day. But we'll start with Evan Stewart, who former 5-star, started his career at Texas A&M and was a big part of their offense this season.
Yeah, we did that video on Malik Benson yesterday, and we were saying, look, Malik Benson is going to help them as a deep threat. He's going to help push those safeties back, but he's not going to be your number one receiver based on what he's done to this point in his career, and we've seen him along the journey. Just that's not his game. He's deep threat, and when you put him in that role, that's when he's going to be most successful. So if you're Oregon, losing Tez Johnson and potentially at that time losing Evan Stewart, you're wondering who's going to fill in the void here. You have DeCorian Moore, who I think is going to be an instant impact Ryan Williams type player as a true freshman. Jamar Chase was actually my comparison for how he plays the game. Big, physical, strong body guy with elite explosiveness as well. Very tough to tackle on the lower body. That's the Jamar Chase. He's not as big, maybe a little faster top end. That's who he kind of reminds me of, DeCorian Moore. So I expect instant impact there, but that's a true freshman. Oregon's got the goals of winning a national championship. Obviously disappointed this year. They came up short. So if you have those big goals, you need to load up at this wide receiver position. Malik Benson helps with the deep threat. DeCorian Moore, very promising. But getting Evan Stewart back, you not only get somebody with a lot of production and experience, you get somebody with still untapped upside. Injured down the stretch here. I think that Oregon really missed his productivity in the passing game. That was it was touch and go, and then you find out he's not going to play. And it really, to me, took the wind out of Oregon's sails in many respects. But you look at his production this year, 613 yards, 12.8 yards per catch, 5 touchdowns, 48 catches. I mean, solid. But those numbers can go up without Tez Johnson. I think you could see this guy as a potential 1,000-yard receiver. And you look at some of the traits, a former 5-star from Frisco, Texas, Dallas area, and the track accolades are just incredible. Won the Texas 5A long jump title as a junior, 24 and foot 6.5 inch jump. Also won the silver in the triple. Look at the 100 meters, 10.5, 800, 21.38, 200, 21.08, 200 as a sophomore. So elite explosiveness. And look, Oregon fans know what he can do. They've watched him this year, but I think there's still more to him now in year 2 of the system that you could see. And hopefully he has that connection with Dante Moore, whoever Oregon's new quarterback is. But I really think Evan Stewart's somebody that we've been waiting for that breakthrough. And now with all the attention on him and a great program around him, you might finally see it here in 2025.
And then the other move for Oregon that happened was Makhi Hughes, a guy we've spoken about multiple times here on Group Chat Football. The top returning back in the country. I mean, he has the claim to it statistically. He was the 9th leading rusher in the country last season, and all 8 running backs ahead of him are entering the NFL draft. So, like I said, he can stake that claim without much argument there, at least statistically. So that sort of returning production, and Hughes is still going to have actually a couple years of eligibility, but one of the most again, productive backs in the country, 5'10", 210 pounds, almost 3,000 yards and 24 touchdowns in 2 seasons with Tulane. And we spoke about it when we did a video on him before, but his half-brother, Naeem Offord, a 5-star who flipped from Ohio State to Oregon on signing day. So maybe something that's been kind of working here for a few weeks.
Yeah, that might have been a 2-for-1 deal when you got Offord, because if he goes to Ohio State needed a running back too now. They ended up getting C.J. Donaldson out of West Virginia in the portal, but they could have easily been in this Makhi Hughes sweepstakes. So you get 2 players, effectively 2 really impactful players with 1 recruiting win. 5'11", 210 pounds, redshirt sophomore, was recovering from an injury his freshman year, which is why he redshirted, originally from Birmingham, Alabama. And he's one of the most productive backs, like you mentioned, Pete, if not the most productive returning back in college football. When you watch him play for Tulane, it's not like a super physical, super fast back. He's just rock solid, knows how to run. Great vision, great patience, always keeping his shoulders square to the end zone, good balance, has some elusiveness as well. But it's not like, again, he's not one of these backs where there's just one skill that just electrifies you. It's just a solid package. He knows how to run. He knows how to get yards. He's been very consistent once he's been on the field. Of course, he had the redshirt year recovering, but then back-to-back seasons well over 1,000 yards, been consistently in that 5-yard per carry range. Of course, the competition at the G5 level at Tulane, not what he's going to be seeing in the Big Ten. But, he's been there. Running is running. He knows how to run. He's going to have better offensive line as well. We talked about the passing game with Evan Stewart coming back. If you can get that passing game to not miss a beat with Dante Moore, then you also have, we mentioned Malik Benson, what he brings, the ability to back those safeties up a little bit. Now Makhi Hughes has more opportunities. People, what would I do without you correcting me every time I flub one of these names?
Listen, I don't like to do it, but it's a necessary evil.
I flub my kids' names. Hopefully they don't hold it against me when they get older. But Makhi Hughes, very rock solid back. I think he is going to potentially represent an upgrade in Oregon's running game this year, even though, again, you've had pro backs the past 2 years. I think just from a college productivity standpoint, Hughes might have the best season of all these guys next season.
Good question here from Canes Cat C305 asking, is this running back Makhi Hughes better than Damian Martinez coming out of the portal last year? And it's a valid question because they were both the number one backs coming out. Just looking at the numbers, Hughes has more yards in his 2 years at Tulane than Damian Martinez did. He had about 700 more yards, but he had about 60 carries a season more than Martinez, and the average yard per carry was about a yard less. He had 5.3. Martinez was averaging 6.1 in his 2 years at Oregon State. And the size difference, I mean, listen, Hughes is not a small back. He's 5'11", 210. But Martinez, you're getting 6'1", 230. And I think it's a different element. Both tremendous backs. And I think both rightfully rated as the number one backs in the portal.
Yeah, like different running styles, like you mentioned. With Martinez, much more physical. He wants contact. I think his top end speed is probably similar, maybe even better. Makhi is much more of, he's elusive, but it's not like a Reggie Bush where he's putting guys in highlight reels. He's avoiding contact. He's being efficient in his movement, and he's able to find the hole and use tremendous vision. Tulane had very much a run-based offense. It was all built around Hughes, even though, Mensa, the quarterback, Darian Mensa, goes to Duke and gets a record-breaking at the time NIL deal to play quarterback for Duke. But really, this offense was built around Hughes. It was a running offense at Tulane, and he was productive. So different backs, but I think both guys can do what they do.
Yeah, Justice Haynes, as Canes Cat C305 says, he preferred him as number one back, and he was off the board quickly, went to Michigan. So yeah, that's definitely a debate there between those two.
And we'll see. I mean, look, we'll see who's Big Ten, all Big Ten first team. Those guys can compete, right, to be all Big Ten first team, because they're both going to be in the conference. So maybe they both are all Big Ten first team. We'll see how it all shakes out.